Hi everyone, we're going to look at the Pythagorean Theorem, which is one of the most common theorems that everybody seems to know once they leave middle school. It's pretty simple to remember because it only involves three letters. So the Pythagorean Theorem is that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. But it's very important to know what those letters represent. C is always the longest side, which we call the hypotenuse. And then A and B are the side lengths or the legs of the triangle. Speaking of triangle, what kind of triangle is it? That's also very important. It's got to always be for a right triangle. This looks absolutely terrible. So let's try and make a right triangle there. That looks a little better. So C is always across from the right angle. That's always the longest side. And then A and B are either or for the side lengths here, the legs of the right triangle. So if I take the side lengths and made them into squares, which are not drawn very well, the areas of A squared, and B squared would exactly fill up this area of this square. That's what the Pythagorean Theorem means. And there's a ton of different proofs out there. Check them out, Google it. They're awesome, but that's what the Pythagorean Theorem is saying. So now we're going to use that here to find missing lengths. So if we're given A, we're given B, and we don't have the longest side C, we're going to simply just plug them in. So 39 squared would be A plus 80 squared equals C squared. Then we just do some calculating on that. So 39 squared plus 80 squared is 7,921. And that's definitely not your answer yet. That would be way too big if you had a 39 side and an 80 side and then 7,921. That doesn't make any sense. Our triangle inequality would show that that doesn't make any sense at all. So to find C, we've got to get rid of the squared here. To do that, we use the square root of both sides. That gets rid of the square. We just get C. And the square root of that 7,921 is going to be our answer, which is going to be 89. And that makes a lot more sense. It's still the biggest side, but it is less than 39 plus 80, and it has to be because of our triangle inequality. The two smaller sides must always add up to more than the biggest side in order to make it work. So that makes sense. Okay, for the next one here, very similar, but now we've got C and A, and we don't have B. So same idea. So 20 squared plus B squared equals 52 squared. Might be good to draw this too. So 52 is the hypotenuse, 20 could be either side, length besides the hypotenuse, and then B put over there. Why not? Okay, so to solve this, we do 20 squared, which is 400, plus B squared equals 52 squared, which is 2,704. Then we just solve for B by doing minus 400. We get 2,304 equaling B squared. Again, we got a square root here because that would make no sense at all to be the side length if the biggest side is 52. So we're going to square root that in order to get B equaling the square root of 2,304, which is 48. And that makes a lot of sense because it's smaller than the biggest side. And if we can, of course, test this if you like. You can do 20 squared plus 48 squared. And then we could do 52 squared, and they're both 2,704. So we did it right, and that's awesome.